All right. Good morning. We got a lot to talk about. A lot. Okay. We got a lot to talk about, man. And we're going to talk about the Miami situation with the Latino cops down there with Tyreek Hill. I saw the whole incident late Sunday night. So shout out to Tariq Nasheed, who had all the footage and the sound before everybody else. And I'm going to comment on that. I'm going to comment on the man who had the play of the week over the weekend. We'll talk about that young man in the thumbnail. But where I'm going to start first is San Francisco. I watched this game from the hospital. I was in the hospital all night with IV in me. Thursday night football, Bills week, me too. Yeah, I'll get the Bills week on Thursday. Because I don't look at when the Dolphins play the Bills, Moss, good morning to you as Bills. With me, just win the damn game. That's all I care about. Stop letting Josh Allen own you. I'll tell you one thing. I'm going to talk about Josh Allen next. What a superhuman performance he put on Sunday, folks. But first, let's get to San Francisco. Dominant. Ayuk was rusty, dropped a couple big touchdown passes. Purdy was okay, nothing special, but the defense was outstanding. I know they get tired of hearing about how great the Jets defense is. Rodgers looked rusty, and the Jets were eyeing the Kings. Tennessee, New England, and Denver coming up. They should be 3-1, and they'll have all their kinks ironed out by the end of the month. So the Jets are fine. They just got a little punch in the face by the 49ers. Let the Jets know who's superior. That young running back last night was completely off the chain. I was watching that from the emergency room last night. And San Francisco rolls on, folks. I mean, what do you want? I mean, they'll go to Minnesota Sunday. The Jets are in Nashville Sunday. It's not right, people, to call Tyreek a criminal. Hey, Big O killed him yesterday. I'm pretty sure after Big O saw the footage this morning, he killed him even more. I'm gonna get to Tyreek Hill. I'll get to that, and the Miami Police Department. I'll get to that because I saw the whole thing Sunday. No, I'm good, bro. They thought I had a viral infection, but I'm good. You know what IVs can do for you these days. I'm good. Appreciate that, Moss. You know how we do. NHL training camp next week, but I'm gonna get to what was the story in the NHL yesterday, which was a very sad story, and I will get to that. Sure did. I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to everything this morning. Uh, Josh Allen on Sunday was totally superhuman for the Buffalo Bills. And if you're gonna catch Buffalo, like you Miami, if you're gonna catch Buffalo, you better do it Thursday night. Because by the time you get to Orchard Park, the Bills will be humming. So if you're gonna catch them, do it now. Do it now. Allen was terrific. 2 touchdowns on the ground, two in the air. Shakur was terrific. That's his new go-to guy. Keon Carpenter looked good. He almost caught a touchdown, but he was a yard and a half short. And Buffalo 34-28. Game was a lot closer than it was. It was a lot closer. Kyler Murray looked terrific. I mean, but in the fourth quarter, Rousseau and Oliver and the boys put the clamps on. And in that game, the Arizona Cardinals in this stupid new kickoff rule ran one back 100 yards. So congratulations with the NFL that a team ran it back in week one. No one's talking about it, of course, because it's not exciting to people. Jordan Mason got upset at the question someone asked him. I guess it was Lisa Salters. And I don't know, he didn't like the question and he was upset about it. But he was the star of the game last night, and so was the Niner defense. By the way, Buffalo at Miami Thursday night. Arizona goes home to play the Rams without Puka Nuuka. What is it? Minnesota toyed with the pathetic Giants. Belichick will be the coach. I will predict by Christmas it'll be the Giants' Christmas present to their fan base. And I told you fools, but the Giants are going to be one of the worst teams in football. And they showed it against Minnesota on Sunday. Daniel Jones, pathetic as always. And the Giants look lifeless. And Minnesota off to a good start. Giants at Washington Sunday. Who cares? Minnesota with Aaron Jones and that great young receiving core. And Sam Donald looking great on Sunday. Um, they host the 49ers Sunday. Good luck, Sam. Bills signed right tackle Spencer Brown to a 4-year, $72 million extension, 45 mil guarantee, so he's set for life. Nice for him. And New Orleans um, had a scrimmage Sunday, and I'm sorry, Derek Carr, you're not getting any credit. Go to Dallas Sunday, win there. And that's going to be a hell of a game, folks, Sunday down in Arlington, Texas. Uh, I'm not doing that game, but it's going to be a hell of a game. I'm not doing it, but it's going to be a hell of a game. Me and Trent Williams taking IVs, bless Goudreau families and players. Yes, Jets not that scary of defense after. I think the Jets are going to get better as the season go on. They'll be 3-1 before you blink an eye. Tennessee, New England, and Denver at home. They're going to be fine. Trust me. What the hell? The Browns? Yeah, I'll get to the Browns. Knew Jordan Mason would go off. Donald looked good. Daniel Jones horrible, like we said yet again. Always. Appreciate that, Moss. I really do, bro. And again, this feels good to do this early in the morning. New Orleans is at Dallas. Carolina plays the Chargers. I'm going to say it now. There is no hope. If you're a passer, there is no hope for the Carolina Panthers, man. They're just not. And until that clown sells the team, you're always going to be bad. Bad. Bryce Young, I don't know what to say. I really don't. Really don't know what to say. Speaking of the Chargers, Justin Herbert went 14 for 23 for 167 yards, no touchdowns. And Tony Manzano was up here on Sunday, and he made one of the stupidest comments you can make. And this is what happens when you listen to a bunch of fools who I don't like personally, which would be the Dolphins community. And when you were a bunch of brainwashers, because that's what they are, or as Big O calls them, the senseless fanboy crowd. And I say this all the time. Uh, do you really think I take anything you clowns say seriously? You guys never even seen a playoff win. Really? Well, let me get to the point. Manzano said when I was telling him the story about Wayne Huizenga, how racist he is, or was since he's not with us anymore, and that he didn't want no hip hop music in the stadium. If you listen to the music in the background, I guess they called it Land Shark Stadium. They had so many fucking names down there. All the music you heard in the background was Jimmy Buffett. You got to be fucking kidding me. And Huizenga also didn't want no Miami Hurricane players on the team. And Vernon Carey don't count. We talking about star players. And Manzano said something, and he's always saying something. And when we get to straight football late Friday night, this is one of the reasons why me and Itas was talking about this on Sunday. That I like my room as dead as it is. Because you get fools like Tony Manzano that says stupid shit out of his mouth. And, I'm the type of guy that I'm very level headed when I do this. And the first 2.5 years of this platform, I used to let this show rock with whoever was on the panel. Why? They all knew what they was talking about. When you start getting fools up here who are so blinded about a team, about a quarterback, you gotta cut everything off. You have to de-alienate from those people, and you stick by what you want done and what you want to talk about. And if people don't like it, I don't care. I really don't care. And Manzano said, I think sometimes you be exaggerating. And everybody on the panel called him out on it right away, and he felt stupid. And this is what happens again when you're with a sick psychotic cult like the dolphin community, because there are a bunch of psychotic, sick people in that dolphins community. These are the things that happens um, when you deal with one of them. Okay. Late night, Friday night, I cut it an hour, 10:15 Eastern. We'll probably go to like 2 a.m. We'll do the college games. We'll do preview all the pro games. I will give you my picks. Matter of fact, let me see. I went 3-0 this week, by the way. I took Dallas, and I saw Cleveland favored by over the way they are. I had to jump in and say, let me do what I got to do, as I always do. New England ahead of the Jets. I don't really Tony sign for the Browns. Hey, look, I know New England's not going to be good. If the season just started, who knows? The aftermath tonight, if you see the thumbnail, those were the big stars of the week. You got to throw. Oh, I'll get to him. Hold on, I'll get to him. But San Francisco, that was a good win for them. Carolina is horrible. Mayfield was at it again. Shout out to the Baker man. Baseball players love Baker Mayfield, by the way. They do. You know, I'll get to that in another day. Mayfield, 26 of 31, 289, 4 TDs. Mike Evans with 2 TDs. As the Hall of Famer now is 2 TDs away from 100. Him, Devontae Adams, and Tyreek Hill are the walking, breathing, catching Hall of Famers in the NFL. Right? I don't hear about Justin Jefferson. I don't hear about Jamar Chase. Okay, you put respect on those three men's names, right? Tampa Bay 1-0. We will be in Detroit Sunday for Tampa Bay Detroit, and um, the Redskins go home to play the Giants. Let me get back to Justin Herbert for a second. You know, a guy like Manzano who likes Justin Herbert, where he goes wrong is he doesn't understand the power of what Jim Harbaugh has. And Jim Harbaugh basically is taking the football out of his hands. And I knew he was going to do that. And there was a scene on the sideline Sunday that, Herbert was frustrated. And Jim Harbaugh went over to him. You could read Jim's lips. And Jim told him, it's working, right? We're winning, right? You're not responsible, but just hand off the football, right? And Justin Herbert shook his head, yeah. Sometimes with the right coach at the right place, things work better. The Chargers for years were hiring flunkies like Brandon Staley, clowns like that as their head coach. It never works. The last time they had a real head coach was Marty Schottenheimer. 14-2 they fight. Okay. Now they have a real coach in Jim Harbaugh, champion football coach. And his philosophy is power football. It's funny. Bill Belichick said yesterday on Pat McAtee that game managing and playing power football wins championships. And nobody did that better than Brady. But I had Cap for life. I think it was like nearly 2 years ago. Me and him got to a big argument. I tried to tell him, bro, he was a game manager. Belichick said that yesterday. All right, the point spreads. Miami, 1.5 over Buffalo. I may take Buffalo there. I'll think about it. Ravens 9.5 over the Raiders. These are fresh leaders came out. Chargers 6.5 over Carolina. I may take the Chargers this week. Thinking about it. Saints Cowboys. Wow. I think they gave the Cowboys too many points. Cowboys was very impressive Sunday. But the Saints can do something Dallas can't do. They can run the football. And if you're the Saints, how do you want to play this Sunday? You got a lot of weapons with Gary Kubiak's kid as the offensive coordinator. Because I'll tell you right now, with the Saints defense, this game will be a lot closer than people think. A lot closer. Detroit A touchdown favorite on the Buccaneers. Packers a field goal underdog, 3.5 against the Colts. Jordan Love will probably be out till like week 7. What else do we got here? Jaguars 3.5 points favored on the Browns. 49ers 6-point favorite on the Vikings. Tell you, 49ers looked good Sunday. I mean yesterday. They really did. Brother Love is in the building. What's up, family? Brother Love in the building. Say what's up to him. My picks was good. Fantasy good. Yes. I don't know. I know one thing. Love. I'm glad Love ain't my quarterback in my leagues, bro. Moore said he saw the same thing I watched yesterday. Haven't seen a Kuma all summer long. What's up, fam? Kuma in the building. I appreciate you pulling up. Cowboys special teams and defense very impressive. We'll find out Sunday against New Orleans. Yep, Steeler Nation. Let me get to that. Tampa Bay is at Detroit. Like I said, the Redskins go home to play the Giants. Pittsburgh, to me, I'm gonna tell you a couple of things about this game that I picked up right away. First, let me do the Steelers. That was Steeler football on Sunday. I agree with that. No, the game is in Detroit Sunday. Tampa Bay, Detroit's in Detroit. That game is in Detroit Sunday. We'll see Detroit uh, week 6 in Dallas. We'll see that one. You damn right we're crawling out of the rocks. Good to see you, Q. I'm gonna say what's up to all you guys in a second. What the hell's going on? Oh, okay. I see what's going on. I took Love in a few times. Hey, sometimes you try to warn you guys about Jordan Love. I said many of occasions up here. Green Bay is a year away. Don't do it. I told you, Jalen Hurts is the way to go. And trust me, Philadelphia is going to get better. Q said he's a big fan of Love. Gotta listen to me sometimes up here, folks. I know what the hell I'm talking about. It pays, let me tell you a little secret. It pays to listen to the media that's there every day for your favorite team and Bill Belichick's of the world. Now, that podcast Belichick has with Matt Patricia, uh, you talk about kissing Belichick's ass, and Belichick is Belichick on his own podcast. Trust me, if you ever catch it, you'll see vintage Bill Belichick in that. The problem is Matt Patricia kills it. Steelers look tremendous Sunday. I think they're gonna go with Fields again. Let me say this about Russell Wilson. Man, you talk about a dick, folks. And Russell Wilson wonders why people can't stand him. This dude is the third string quarterback, and he's wearing his pads and no eye contact between him and Justin Fields. Russell Wilson's the type of guy that if you was a defensive lineman, like what happened last year with the Broncos when the defensive lineman wanted to kill him, you really want to just body slam his ass and put a knee to his neck. He's one of those type of guys. You can't stand the guy. You wonder why is he here? Seriously. Russell Wilson is poison. He's corny. He's goofy. And he's the type of guy that, you just, man. TJ Watt was tremendous, by the way, on Sunday. Shout out to Q in the building, too. Good to see Q. It's been a long time. The one thing I came away from that game, not only do the Atlanta Falcon players can't stand Kirk Cousins, the body language is all off. And let me tell you right now, for all you fools like the Colin Cowherds, I test who picked Atlanta, at Philly next Monday night, at Kansas City next Sunday night. Get Michael Penix ready. Oh, did the Steelers make Kirk Cousins diarrhea in his pants? Yeah, no problem, Akuma. That's right. Steeler Nation don't allow us. I think they're going to keep going with the young boy. We'll be in Pittsburgh next week, by the way. Their home opener against Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. That's going to be a physical, punch you in the face football game next Sunday in Pittsburgh. We'll be there. Steelers, uh, Steelers, Chargers next Sunday. Steelers home opener, week 3 in Pittsburgh. We'll be there for that. Steelers look real good. Yeah, Russell Wilson, celebrity quarterback, and everybody. I can go deeper, but it's not this time in the morning to go deep with Russ. Pittsburgh is at, I believe. Let me get it right. What Pittsburgh is at this week? Let you know right now because I got it right here. Uh, Pittsburgh is at Denver. Now, if Russell played week 1, that would have been our game this Sunday. That would have been our game. But I don't want Russell Wilson just coming off the bench and excuses. But Sean Payton's looking for the kill Sunday. Sean Payton wants to bury his ass on Sunday. Chiefs 6-point favorite against the Bengals. Texans 6.5 on the Bears. Eagles 6.5 next Monday night against Atlanta. Arizona is a point and a half favorite on the Rams. Redskins point and a half favorite on the Giants. You should bet against the Giants all year. I'm serious about that. They may win Sunday. They ain't winning too many games, folks. Jets 4-point favorite in Nashville. Seahawks 3-point favorite in Foxborough. So those are the lines this week. I tell you that Buffalo Miami, man. Whew. We'll be there Thursday night. I can tell you right now, I'm gonna take the Saints in the 6.5 on the Cowboys. I'm gonna take the Saints. Dolphin Bills, that looks enticing, bro. Point and a half. Buffalo underdog. I'll think about it. Definitely taking the Saints over the Cowboys 6.5. Gotta take it. I'm gonna take the Steelers -3 at Denver. That's my second game. I'm gonna definitely take the Steelers in Denver because that defense is ridiculous. I'm gonna take the Steelers 3-point favorite. I'm gonna take the Saints 6.5 point underdog, and I'm already 3-0, folks. The Fiore is already got started. 3-0 against the spread. Pro picks. We're rolling in here. We are goddamn rolling in here. Patriots. It was one of the touching locker room scenes I have seen in a long time. Bob Kraft in tears, saying he hasn't won an opener in a long time. He says he's so spoiled. He forgot how it is to win opening day since Tom left. Uh, Patriots win in Cincinnati, and there's a lot of problems in Cincinnati. Mac Brown, I mean, Mike Brown, Mackin, letting Jamar Chase, I'll pay you when I'm ready to pay you. You know, T. Higgins is out the door. He's hurt, and it looks like he's not playing this week. So, a lot of problems in the Natty right now. And New England earned the victory. Defense was stout. Gerard Mayo got the game ball. And I'll tell you, New England and Seattle on Sunday. Let me talk about Seattle real quick. That's going to be a good game, folks. It's going to be a very low scoring game. The money line is 100, and looks like it's anywhere between 104, depending on who's your sports book, and 120 if you take the Seahawks. Anywhere between 105 is even, 118 if you take the Patriots. I watched Seattle on Sunday, and you can tell that young team has changed. It's a defensive locker room, just like Pete Carroll had it 12 years ago with the Legion of Boom coming up. Seattle is not going to work, and they'll have a new quarterback next year. They'll have two new receivers next year. They'll stick with Nigba, but they're going to get two guys who is going to go along with Mike McDonald's plan. Uh, Seattle's going to be a good team, folks, but I think it's going to be a year away when McDonald gets his type of players on offense in there. And you're a Seahawk fan. Enjoy 7-10. Okay. Seattle's at New England. Um, Denver is home for the Steelers. That was a very good game in the second half on Sunday night. Detroit drove down 80 yards down the field in overtime and scored the game-winning touchdown, the game-winning two-point conversion to beat the Rams. And that rivalry continues since the big trade golf for Stafford. Detroit, Tampa on Sunday. Rams are at Arizona. Rams open up week 3 against the Niners. We will do that game as the second game of the doubleheader next week. And last but not, we're gonna do 2 more games and then we'll get to it. I want to talk about Tyreek Hill and the Miami Police. Texans and Colts in an old-fashioned shootout. Joe Mixon was outstanding. Stroud was Stroud. And, away we go. Not too crazy about Richardson. I told you guys that. Colts are in Lambeau Sunday, no Jordan Love. Houston goes home Sunday night to play the Bears. Now, who's in the front of the thumbnail today? And he'll be in the front of the thumbnail tonight. And that would be Javon Holland. Javon Holland had the play of the game on Sunday. Is the mic better now, Brian Will? No, Cousins couldn't throw right. That's why we were picking him off. Thursday night, baby, Moss is pumped up about the Dolphins. You know me, how I feel. Bengals miss Mixon, looking great for Texans. Cousins couldn't move right at all. Nobody on the Steelers side is scared of Cousins. Cousins just looked bad on Sunday. Cool, cooler, we still cool. I don't know what you mean by that. All right, Javon Holland, what a play to change the game around Sunday. Stripped Travis Etienne, who's about to go in for basically to ice the game Sunday, to make it 24-7 with 2 minutes left in the third. And then what happened next is typical electricity in the air, folks. As Tua hits Tyreek Hill for 80 yards to get the game to 17-14. Then the Dolphins kicked the 2 field goals to win it. And that was a great win for Miami. A year ago, Miami would have let Travis Etienne get into the end zone and they lose the game. Moss with this Canadian agenda. So Miami goes to 1-0. Thursday night, Buffalo goes to South Florida. Pre-game show appearance starts at 7:15. And Jacksonville goes home to play the Browns. Now, let me go further. Now, I'm going to begin. Uh, I'll do Tyreek, then I'll do Deshaun Watson, and then I'll end the platform today with Johnny Goodrow. I saw the entire footage on Sunday. Someone video cammed it. And in my opinion, they was wrong on both sides. First, Tyreek Hill should have rolled his window down, gave his license and registration, and they will probably escort him to the stadium. But Tyreek had his machoism in him, and once the cops pulled him out of the car, proud hell broke loose. Shout out to Calais Campbell, Juno Smith, and Javon Holland, who stood by Tyreek Hill when the cops was trying to ruffle. And they were trying to ruffle. One cop kicked him in the leg unnecessarily. They put a knee to his back twice. They threw him to the ground. They hate when you tell them that Holland is Canadian. And to me, and I'm going to get in a lot of trouble what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. A lot of these white Latinos want to be a big part of white supremacy in this country. And you can tell down there, they were all Hispanic cops. One of them lost his cool and went extra aggressive, and then another one joined in to be extra aggressive. One handcuffed Calais Campbell. And here's my question to all this. Where were Dolphin officials? If this happened a block from the stadium, where were Dolphin officials to come and cool down the situation? And this is why, again, when you look at the Dolphins as a whole, you just scratch your head. God damn, I can imagine if it was another fucking Drew Rosenhaus got there quicker than Miami officials didn't even show up. You gotta be kidding me. This is one of the best players in the planet. And you just signed him to an extension 2 weeks ago. And you let him go out there and get dehumanized like he was? I tell you what, if that was Tua, boy, the Miami would have their own security. Everybody out there. Mike McDaniel would have been out there, and hell would have broke loose if that was Tua. Hell would have broke loose. Guys, people would have got out of their cars saying, leave Tua alone. Yeah. TSN Canadian NFL analyst David Sanchez and Luke Wilson, former Seahawk great, cooking Deshaun Watson. I'll get to Watson next. This is more important than Watson. The bottom line is both sides were wrong if you watch the entire video. But the police was more wrong because they tried to show their authority that they have the badge and the gun. And the one thing about most police officers, the reason why they become police officers, they can go gun wild. on citizens, especially black men. Even though now more black women are getting arrested than black men these days here in the United States. But you guys get my drift. And it's just a bad look all the way around. Tyreek's lawyer was with him last night on CNN. I don't know if the Dolphins made a statement, but this is a bad look all the way around. And Tyreek Hill was so scared. He told Juno Smith, "Don't leave me." Calais Campbell, "Don't leave me." When you heard, see, I heard the audio Sunday night on Tariq Nasheed's platform, and when Tyreek Hill told the cops he wanted to be a cop, all the one who they put on administrative leave got even more angry. Like basically saying, we don't accept black cops in our police force, which is a lie because there's black cops in Miami. Tyreek taking the high road, yeah. Now, if you listen to Big O, Tyreek is guilty and he's a punk and he's a thug and trouble follows him everywhere. Boy, did he roast Tyreek Hill yesterday morning on his platform. Me, on the other hand, I'm fair. I look at both sides. Tyreek should roll down his windows completely, showed his license and registration, and away he went to the game. And none of this would have happened. But on the other side, everything escalated once the cop pulled him out of the car. When the cop pulled him out of the car, that's when everything escalated. That's when everything escalated. Um, Again, this is a bad look on the Dolphins, in my opinion, because they should have sent people. Give Drew Rosenhaus credit; he got there in 10 minutes. Give Drew a lot of credit. That's what agents are supposed to do. You heard him if you saw the entire body cam. When they threw him on the ground, he was talking to Drew Rosenhaus, and he told Drew, "They're going to arrest me. They're going to arrest me for speeding." Drew said, "I'll be right there." You can hear him click the phone. Rosenhaus got there in 10 minutes. He was there. Once he got there, things began to change. Now, let me say something about the Cuban police officers down there. You got to understand, there are white Hispanics that want to be so close to white supremacy that they will do whatever it takes to be part of white supremacy in this country. And the two Hispanic races, or the worst at that, is the Mexicans out in Southern California. They're police officers. A matter of fact, they got a militia in their police force for how many blacks and Mexicans they take out. And in Miami, you got the Cubans down there who swear they're close to whiteness. And here in New York, I can tell you, everything has changed. Every chance I walk past a police officer, I thank them for their work. The only cops I don't talk to are black women cops and Latino cops because they both have an attitude, they're on edge and ready to kill a nigga up here in New York. They're ready to trigger the gun. It is so bad here in New York now. You can't even go inside the police station to file a report. You got to do it online. I don't know what's up with these cops here in New York, man. But like I always say, if you don't do crimes, the last thing on your mind is the boys in blue. And you have so many people jumping on Tyreek's side, but you have to be fair and balanced. You got to look at both sides. But like I said, everything was getting better. Tyreek was complying with them. You heard the body cam, but once that police officer lost his cool and pulled him out and threw him on the ground out of his car, that's when everything exploded. They got him on administrative leave. The police gets away with everything. You know what I'm saying? I remember one time, many years ago, my nephew was the nicest young boy in the world, and the police was messing with him. And one of his friends called me and said, "Hey, Unc, they're messing with Randy." I said, "Who?" "The police." I was there, folks. No lie. I got into a cab. I was there in 4 minutes, and I asked the police. They didn't handcuff him, but once I came and I started, letting the cops know that I know about their slick shit. They checked out his ID and everything. He doesn't have a record. They saw his school grades and his college vouch for him. And the cops uh, apologized to him. I said, "Kiss my ass." When you deal with these race soldiers, that's who these police officers are. That's what we call them here in the United States, race soldiers. You gotta understand their mindset. When they tell you, when they tap on your window, especially if your car is tinted windows, you roll down, let them see you. Even tell the cop it's on, the shade, my license and registration. Let them take it. Let the officer give you a ticket, and away you both go. Cops go home, see their kids at night. You go where you go, and you go about your life. I have a buddy of mine. When we go on late night drives, we used to drive up to Seattle from Oregon. It's a quick ride after 10 o'clock at night. If you leave, let's say Portland to go to Seattle, and let's say you leave at 10 o'clock Pacific time, you'll be in Seattle by 1 o'clock. And Seattle is a place where, hey, hip hop caviar, how you doing, honey? Hip hop caviar in the building. Yeah, you know, and the cops, if you drive a certain, uh, and I told my boys, I said, bro, you better start driving a little less at this time at night. You drive a little slower than faster. A lot of people go faster late at night, and they don't understand. They're waiting for you. Shannon Sharp said it best. When the police pull up on you, let them get your license and registration, and you go about your life. If the speed limit is 55 on the highway, you drive 50. Even drive 45. There's hardly nobody on I-95 going up to Seattle anyway. Seattle's a dead city at night. It's not. There's no nightclubs in Seattle. It's nothing but grunge clubs. You know, it's not. Seattle's a beautiful city. It's one of the most beautiful cities on earth. But the nightlife there is none, unless you like grunge music. Is none. Okay, and there's a lot of New Yorkers out there, so I fit in well in Seattle because I'm a New Yorker. They can tell by my accent. When I used to go up there, when I used to live out in the West Coast, They will tell me where to get my bagels, New York bagels, where I get my New York hot dogs on the grill. They would tell me where to go, and I would go, and I was thinking I was back in the Upper West Side in Manhattan. It felt that way. And Seattle, of all the West Coast cities, folks, Seattle is the New York of the West. Tech money all over the place, millionaires walking around. Nordstrom's headquarters is there. It's for the fancy. What I mean by that, Seattle's for the elite. It's not for the blue collar guy. They thumb their noses down on blue collar people out there. Say hello to my family. I know he's still yeah, I hope he's still here. Hip hop hip hop caviar. Hip hop caviar, good morning to you, sweetheart. Appreciate you supporting me. Hey, that's right, girl. Hey. By the way, soon, I would say give me another week. I will go back on camera. Because I like being on camera. It's not like I'm scared to be. I love showing my face because I'm a handsome man. So I got nothing to show. And I lost, believe it or not, gang, I've lost 47 pounds since April. So I'm looking healthier and healthier. And it's a nice feeling. Ever since I got my transplant and I put on some weight, when I walk outside, people said this is the best we ever seen. And the reason why they say that to me personally, because they've seen me at my worst. When I busted my spleen when I was in a walker. When I was blind for 9 months. And the only reason why I got to my house, two reasons. One, I live on the second floor. So all I have to do is make sure I don't fall down the stairs to get into my complex and just press the elevator and I'm upstairs in the second my condo is right in front of the elevator. So I've been through some rough times. Well, I'm good now finally. It took a couple of years, but I'm good now. All right, Moss is talking about this PWHL that named their teams yesterday, and NHL Network caught hell for it because, and I'm getting to this next. I'm gonna finish Tyreek up, and then I'm gonna get to Johnny Gaudreau. Uh, a lot of people didn't want to hear, and the NHL Network is news out here in New York this morning. Caught hell for that. They caught hell for that. If you're going to change the goddamn topic, why don't you talk about what's happening in Penticton, British Columbia, when the Oilers, the Flames, which a lot of people in Calgary are making that trip to see their draft picks, the Canucks and the Jets are playing their kids out there this weekend. Talk about that. No one wants to hear. Have you heard the Montreal Canadiens? There's a guy who does a Canadian page. All Montreal Canadiens. He got his whole studio decked out in the CH. This man has gone as far. And Moss, I'll look it up and I'll send it to you, bro. This is the greatest Canadian prospect camp in the history of the franchise. I said, bro, I fell out of my chair. I said, bro, do you know who played for this franchise that you so-called love so much? Are you crazy? You know, this is why. Thank you, Etakuma. Meredith Goudreau. I'll get to that next. I'll get to that next. I'm gonna end the show with that today, Moss. I'm gonna end the show with that. I'm like, bro, are you serious? Thank you, Brian. This is why I love guys like all of you. Because all of you respect my opinion. And I'm gonna fix the mic, Brian. I promise I will fix it. All you guys respect what I have to say, and I respect what you guys gotta say. I'm no Mr. Know It All. I just go by what I hear and what is facts and what I read. More so, the same thing I saw yesterday when Belichick said playing uh what's that football style again? Game managing for the quarterback and power football. That means running the football like the Saints are going to do against Dallas on Sunday equals championship football. I totally agree. I totally agree. Been saying that all along since I started this show. Why do you think the Dolphins were great in the early 70s? Zonka, Kick, Morris, the greatest backfield in the history of the NFL. Don't believe me? The NFL, I forgot what show they do on Friday nights. They did the perfect backfield. It was those three. Appreciate all you guys. Ended with the cops. They did a horrible job with Tyreek on Sunday. Once Tyreek rolled down his window a little bit and gave you his license and registration, you should have ended it right there. But something that, and I always knew this, because I used to hang around guys who knew ball players. And I used to, believe it or not, I used to hang around NBA guys, especially the Iverson era, those guys. These police officers who are making what, $60,000 a year? When they see professional athlete, black or white, doesn't matter, hits Latino, down there is definitely the Latino baseball players who spend their off seasons down there. Driving these $1 million cars. You don't think it drives these everyday people crazy? Where they have to work 30, 40 years just with their earnings to move into a nice area? These guys are 22 years old and they're living in mansions? Of course. The Miami Police Department should really just horrible what they did to Tyreek Hill. They were over aggressive, over ticked off, over angry, and you saw it for yourself. You saw the entire body cam. It all changed when that cop yanked him out of his car. And Tyreek was wrong. He should have rolled his window down, gave him the license and registration, and I'll say it again, they would have escorted him to the stadium. Two wrongs don't make a right, but the Miami police really went overboard. I'm curious to hear what Big O says, because yesterday he destroyed Tyreek Hill yesterday. He really did. So I'll listen to Big O after I finish this. Last but not least, and this is where Moss comes back in. We're going to talk about it. I'm going to end the show right here today. According to the guy who NHL Network had on, and I saw the church, that I've never seen a packed church like that since Barbara Bush passed away. I'm not lying. Half of the NFL, NHL, excuse me, I'm sorry. Half of the NHL players they said was at this funeral yesterday, including Matty Goudreau. I mean, excuse me, apologize, folks, apologize. Matty Chuck, Sean Monahan, who has said nothing. Everybody wants to hear from Sean Monahan because that was Johnny's best friend in Calgary. Most of the Flame players, his former teammates, did go to the funeral yesterday, they said. And Moss said something that is sad. It made the lady who was hosting the show last night on NHL Network cry. She was holding back the tears. Meredith Goudreau, which is Johnny's widow, didn't tell him he was going to have a third kid. Johnny will never know he was going to have a third kid. And she kept it a surprise to him. Women do that. And Moss is right. It breaks our hearts. See, if he didn't play for my team, my heart would have broken for him, but not the way it breaks for him because I watched the young man play for 9 years right in front of my eyes every night on my TV set. And I said this when I gave a tribute to him 2 weeks ago. I'm going to say it again. Johnny Gaudreau revolutionized the game of hockey. And again, Tony Manzano had a hard time dealing with that. That's why Tony is lost. Okay? Johnny Gaudreau, because he's American, revolutionized college hockey. Then he took that to the NHL. And when he came into the league was dead, folks. You had Crosby and fucking Ovechkin and Malkin. Those guys are boring players. You know, they don't get you off your seat. Only Canada loves Sidney Crosby. Here in the States, he's a nobody outside of Pittsburgh. Okay? And believe me when I tell you this, Sidney Crosby is the most underrated, unappreciated American, um, unappreciated superstar in America. And one of the reasons why he is, I'm gonna get right back to Goudreau. One of the reasons why he is because when he was younger, he used to say some snide remarks and turned off a lot of the national media here in America. You know, they look at him and roll their eyes at him. Don Cherry said the same thing up in Hockey Night in Camp in Coach's Corner. It makes you roll your eyes out. Johnny Gaudreau, on the other hand, 5'6", soaking wet, but he was electrifying. And you rather have players who are electrifying. McKinnon, the great Connor McDavid, they're electrifying. Those are electrifying hockey players. Okay? We're going to miss Johnny. Let me tell you something. I had to cancel shows 2 weeks ago because I was that heartbroken. I couldn't talk. I really teared up when I found out the news. And how I found out the news, folks, you're not going to believe it. I had my mother here Labor Day weekend, and she was watching TMZ that Friday. Salute, Auntie. What's up, family? And uh, oh boy, Howie, he's doing TMZ. Him and his partner, and they said two hockey stars died. And I'm like, who the hell is this? And I didn't know who to think it was. But when I saw that Columbus Blue Jacket jersey, my heart sunk. I'm not lying. I almost collapsed in my living room. And I had to hold myself and I jumped in my bed, grabbed a bottle of water, and then I sat up And then I saw the news everywhere. Let me say what's up to Auntie. My heart sunk. Guys, I'm not joking about this. Goudreau meant that much to me because he played for my team until he left. Once he left, I just said, he's gone, I don't care. But when you lose someone and you're never going to see him again, it's heartbreaking. I was watching Johnny Goudreau highlights for that week, 2 weeks ago. Nothing but Johnny Goudreau. It was so stunning in Calgary. The local news didn't even touch it. They didn't even touch it. They didn't even touch it because they was that shocked. And give the Flame fans a lot of credit. Van T's still here. If he wants to pull up, I'll drop the link. Well, it took the Flames. I'm gonna say it took them at least 3 or 4 days to get around it. Then they had the memorial. Then Craig Conroy, Mikhail Backman, um, the great Lanny McDonald. They all spoke, and it's a tragedy that shouldn't have happened. The guy who hit him is still disillusioned that he did something wrong. And I'm gonna tell you right now, and I had a guest up here, Brave Fans 8. He was up here. And he lives in the Jersey Shore area, South Jersey, where a lot of these guys come. Cole Caulfield, Montreal Canadiens will wear number 13 for the rest of his career. And the Canadians have granted him that wish. Canadians have been phenomenal towards the Goudreau family. They reached out to the Goudreau family. Uh, exactly. You know, Manzano had a hard time dealing with that. That kids live Johnny hockey. He had a hard time dealing with it 2 weeks ago, Moss. I'm not joking. He was like, "Oh," I said, "Don't do that. Don't do that." And from Sunrise, Florida, where his so-called Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers, play, to Maine and Vermont, to Newfoundland, to Quebec province, okay, to Ontario, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Southern Alberta, Johnny Goudreau touched a lot of lives. He was he was the closest hockey player to Mr. Saturday Night. I'm not joking. Remember, there was no Connor McDavid. There was no Leon Draisaitl when Johnny Goudreau came into the league. McKinnon was in the 13 draft. He went number one overall. Fascinating, isn't it? He will be missed. Him and his brother Matty. My heart goes out to Jeannie and Guy Goudreau, his parents, his uncle Jim. They lost two sons, two brothers, two uncles. Two great, fine young men. Meredith Goudreau, Maddie's wife, and they're going for blood, by the way. I heard Gary Bettman has sent his people down there. They're going. The NHL is going for blood for this because because two fine young men who were just going on a bicycle ride in their hometown, and everybody knows them. I mean, Cofield is from the same town. He said he couldn't sleep. Mike Trout, when he heard the news, him and his wife lost it completely. They knew the Goudreau boys. Mike Trout's like 2 towns away. They know each other in South. I call it South Philadelphia. All the Flyer players live there. It's like 10 minutes from Wells Fargo Arena in Philadelphia. They all live there. Danny Briere, all those guys. It's always been a Flyers community. And if the Flyers weren't so cheap, Johnny Goudreau said he was ready to sign to them. One more thing. This is for Moss. I hope Moss is still listening. Johnny Goudreau left Calgary the wrong way, in my opinion. But I will say this. He loved playing in Canada, and he gave the Flames 9 awesome years. And him and his brother Matthew, the world is going to miss them. We are going to miss them as human beings. Forget the hockey players. As human beings. It's something I always say. I like the human interest stories of people. I can care less how much money you have, all those semantic stuff, it don't make sense. All I care about when I talk to people is who you are as a person. When you go to these manosphere rooms, you see what they're all about. Okay? But you rather have a room that's dead and quiet, like Itest said, with good quality people on your panel, than people who don't know what the hell is really going on. Kids in New England, Johnny Hockey, all wanted to be, thank God, not Johnny Football. You ain't lying. I said that when I did the tribute to Johnny Goudreau. Isn't that something? Football had Manziel, and he was a bust. He was a rich kid that didn't care. On the other hand, you had Goudreau. And the NHL didn't know what they had. And they said, you know what? He's Johnny Hockey. That's why that thumbnail says Johnny Hockey forever. It will always be Johnny Hockey forever, especially in Western Canada and the Atlantic seaport. From Sunrise to Maine, Vermont, Newfoundland, Quebec province, Ontario province, Manitoba province, Saskatchewan province, and southern Alberta, it will always be Johnny Hockey. I guess Auntie left. I dropped the link. Moss, I'll see you tonight. I'm gonna give out game balls and I'm gonna let everybody come up tonight. Enjoy your lunch in the East Coast time zone, and in the Central time zone, it's gonna be lunchtime there. You live out in the Rocky Mountains like Moss. It's still early morning, and Moss just started work not too long ago. And if you live in the Pacific Northwest, it's very early morning. And I used to live out there. Lunchtime for us out there is 11 o'clock. It's not 12, it's 11 because out there we used to start work at 7 in the morning. So 7, 11, 7 to 3, 7 to 4, I'm out. So for everybody, I appreciate you. Moss, Brian Will, Akuma, Hip Hop Caviar, looking better than ever, sweetie. There she is. We'll see you tonight, everybody. Have a great afternoon, a great day. Get home safely, everybody. 7:35 Eastern Time. Javon Holland, the big hero on Sunday in the NFL. Saquon had 3 touchdowns. We'll be doing this tonight, folks. The aftermath. I do that every Tuesday in the NFL season. And these 5 guys were the best players this weekend, and they're going to get rewarded for it tonight. There you go. Holland, Parsons represents the Dallas defense. T.J. Watt, who made Kirk Cousins diarrhea in his pants. Saquon with 3 touchdowns. And yes, Coach Gerard Mayo of the Patriots 1-0, winning in Cincinnati. We'll see you tonight, 7:35 Eastern Time, 5:35 where Moss is. Big ups to you, man. I'll see you later tonight, everybody. Enjoy your day. Get home safely from work.